Okay, so we are back working on my Magna race car. Now I've decided to make the job way larger than it originally was going to be, and I'll show you why. So in the back of this car, because it was a production sedan, it had a little bit more cut out of it than we were allowed to cut out in street stock. So some of the chassis rails are cut off at the back here. So this rail here is supposed to go all the way through and join on underneath there, and obviously the boot floor's cut out. There's a piece cut out here that we're not allowed to cut out, and some bits in the front, not much in the front, there's a little bit there that's cut out that we're not allowed to cut out. And I originally was just going to weld them back in there out of another donor car, but it's going to be basically a new car. And if I'm building a new car, I don't want my scabby ass welds and fucking, the back will probably fall off the cunt or something on me. So I've decided I'm going to reshell it. So I'm going to pull the cage out of this and put it and the engine and the wiring and the radiator and the fuel tank and everything into another shell. And I'll show you, I've got the shell over here. It's still running and driving. Right, so we got Mitsibishi Magna. This is a 2004 model. It's a TL, is it? I think it's a TL Magna. It's got the slopey, slanty-eyed lights, which I'm going to run this light and this front bumper model off of a VRX is going to be the panels that I run. So I've got to find one of these that's a VRX that I can get molded to make my panels from. It doesn't actually hurt the car, so I'm just trying to find one that I can buy or borrow to get it done. Anyway, so we're going to start. We basically have to take every single thing out of this car. The engine, the gearbox, the bumpers, all the bonnet, the glass, the interior, the doors, the boot lid, the tail lights, everything, all the dash, everything's got to come out of this thing. It's quite a large job. Quite a big job, actually. Some people can do them in a day. Strip a car in a day. We're just starting at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so maybe I'll get a few bits off. This is a runner. Can't believe we're pulling apart a perfectly running car for this. Not even a blown motor one.
It's almost blown.
Anyway, yeah, it is almost blown. Okay, let's start. Do you think these gas struts are the same as a Falcon and a Commodore? Because the ones on mine are getting a bit sad. Wonder if I can flog them for it.
They're like $30 to buy.
Yeah, but these ones are good. What am I going to do with them now that they're off the car? These bonnets weigh a bit, eh? Not like a VF, where they're just made out of tin, aluminium. That one. It's not a 5-minute job to change a guard on one of these if you didn't want to scratch anything. There we go. One guard off.
They're attached good.
Yeah.
If it was a Commodore and just fall off.
Yeah, Commodore bumper fucking... You look at the cunt in reverse and it just falls off.
She's fucked.
Yeah. So when we bought this car, it had this dent already in it. And it's a pretty bad dent, really. But it's nowhere near as bad as the dents that it's probably going to get in its future life. This here needs straightening out. Some of this, I think I might be able to just chop this big piece off here. Will be okay, but yeah, just straighten that out. She's good to go. Oh, the side skirt's missing off the other side. Oh. Got that one off a bit easier. Fuck, that one's gonna be good. There we go. I'll undo that. Alright. Righto. Take the door off. Oh, I forgot about a bit. Fuck.
What bit?
The bit that stops the door flinging all the way open. I think it's best to undo it first. There we go.
Fuck, must be heavy, is it?
There's a fucking fair bit of weight in them doors, eh? Holy heck. Let's take this one off a little bit more sensible.
What, in the right order?
Yeah. Undo that first. Then
Cut the wire.
chop the wires. Then undo the door. This time, the door just comes off properly. This whole frame's welded to it.
Yeah, the grinder then.
Yeah, well, I was going to take the carpet out after I took these out, but I'll have to take it out first if I'm going to go grinding in here. Jack, look at this. That's how good this car was. Still got a fucking brand new.
Oh, and all it's
And
yeah.
that's all it stills. That's pretty crazy, eh? It is low K's. Do they come out factory with a piece of wood in there?
They must.
That's off of the spare wheel cover.
They're good in this, so keep them.
Yeah, somebody will want them.
Maybe. Is that fun?
Yeah, it is fun. Bent that one. This one? That one? Right. That should just fall out.
That was easy.
Right.
Oops.
Have wires attached to it probably. Right, so I've undone 3 bolts on the driver's seat, but it's an electric seat and it works in some ways, but it doesn't slide forwards and backwards. So the last bolt that's down in here, I can't get to. I've got most of them undone, so I'm thinking if I take the center console out of the way, then I might be able to get to that bolt. See, there's a screw here that holds it on and there's one on the other side, but to get to that screw, you need to move the seat forwards. We're just gonna have to break this console out.
Probably.
It's in in pretty good condition, this console too. You should pull out of there.
Beer and all.
The only thing holding that in is that one screw there.
On the other side.
Yeah, I might be able to lever it off of it.
plugged in. Is that?
Oh, it's that plug. There we go. What's that?
Is it intact? Or did you break it? You broke it.
Probably got broken a bit. Look, I can get to the seatbelt now. Even with the rattle gun too, probably. There we go. Now there'll be plugs on this one for sure, since it's an electric seat. Oh, heaps of them. This little thick tabby bit locks it, and then you just press that down and it'll probably just fall out.
They're heavy too.
Yeah, they are heavy. Fuck. These make a pretty good shed seat, and you can lean back on them. Oh, they lean back just to there. Oh, how good's that? Fuck, that's a good shed seat. Yep. I wonder what holds these in.
Oh, look at the seatbelt.
Yeah, there's a line.
Yeah.
Is that faded? Huh.
That's crazy.
And that's just since we owned this car, because remember it had mint condition interior when we bought it.
You probably go from the boot, do you?
Yeah, they probably fold down. Do they? Just looking for a button. Oh look, it's got a little fucking
flappy thing.
That's so you can get your beers out of the esky while you're driving along. How cool is that? Is that it? That's the bottom loose. It's
Just use force.
yeah, I think it's got like this clippy thing. Maybe.
What?
Let's undo the seat belt. I think it slides up. Let's see if it'll slide up now.
Easy, look at that. How were the seatbelts stopping it?
Oh, they weren't. They just did try and slide it up earlier, but they sort of just were pulling a little bit of tension on it. So the reason the Magna doesn't have a thing here is because that plate bolts in. It's a bolt-in plate.
Does that mean you can take it out?
Yep, that means I can take it out.
But you're going to leave it in, aren't you?
No. Extra spare bit. Oh, should we take these off too? Now, the reason I wanted to take this out in one piece without folding it is because I want to see how they get them out to put new fabric on it. I want to try and get this out of the car and see how the fuck they get them out to put new covers on it. Wouldn't that be a thing to learn? Oh, so they go like that, like this. Surely they don't take them out the back door, do they? Oh, I can't quite get that, fit that out of there. No, it doesn't fit out the back door. How do you get that in the front seat? You must kind of bend them a little bit. Huh. There you go, so they bend them and they fit out the front seat.
With no seats in it.
Well, maybe they just take your passenger seat out. It probably would come out with the passenger seat. And then they just peel that off. and sand all that shit off. That's no good, and then glue a new bit on. Huh, there you go. Look, I did a thing. I pulled the dash out. So I kept working for a bit longer, had a couple of beers and a couple of breaks, and got a fair bit done now. So I've stripped all the back out over here, all the little plastic plugs, all the wires and all that sort of stuff's all stripped out of there. I left the speakers in there still yet, I haven't taken them out. Back window's got to come out yet. And I just slowly worked my way forward, pulled all the insides of these off, all the seat belts off of there, pulled the dash out and moved the gear stick out of the way to get the dash out. Got a fucking fair bit out anyway. I'm just working on all the aircon system here now. Get that all out of the way. Look at the size of this airbag. This is a fucking monster airbag. Look at the size of it. So we can't just leave it contained in this box. So we're gonna have to let this off one day very soon. We'll find some shit to sit on top of it, and then we'll fucking set the can off and see how high in the air it goes. Right. What else are we doing here? Just keep chipping away at this. Fucking pull some of this shit out. So far, I've used a 19mm, a 17mm, a 12mm, and a 10mm socket, and I've undone nearly every single one of them with the rattle gun. I've barely had to do anything by hand, only that one where the seat was. Flathead screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver. We've pulled the whole fucking car apart with just those tools. Like fuck all tools. It's been so easy. None of this looking around. Fucking what size is that? What size is this? It's just either a 10 or a 12 most of the time, which is pretty cool. Look, and just everything. You can just get it. You can just get to every fucking thing with the rattle. It's so easy. Look, there's a bit there. Look at this, it all falls apart. Like, it's fucking so cool. Anyway, I've got to get these plugs off of here now. So, what I've done is I've pulled the cable from inside the fuel flap lever. So the fuel flap lever that's under the seat there, there's a cable that goes all the way through. I chopped the end off of it, and I've pulled this cable outside of it, and that's what I'm using to cut this window out. It seems to be working not too bad, actually. This windscreen should just lift out. That wasn't too bad. Alright, we just got this one all the way around too. Fuck, that end's hot. Right, back window out. Steel plates on top, steel plates on top of steel plates. Look, there's still another one. Right, fluffy shit's out of there. Pick all the nuts and bolts up out of here. Look at them all, fucking hundreds of them. Alright, so the stripping out process is nearly done. Well, kind of nearly done. We've got the sound deadening to take out of the floor, which is going to be an absolute nightmare because there's fucking heaps of it. Look at it all. There's so much in there. So that's going to be very time consuming. We've got to take the motor out of this thing. Got a fella coming over now. He's going to degas it for me. So we're going to move this car out of the shed now, and we're going to start stripping the engine bay out. First, I've got wires and fucking bolts and nuts and little bits and pieces all over the fucking floor out here, so I'm going to pick all them up, put them in the trailer to go to the dump. Right, the aircon fella's been and he fucking sucked all the gas out, so I've undone that, and barely any was left in there. It just went psst, and then that was it. So that's good. We don't have fucking green shit everywhere like we've had in the past. stuck down the bottom. This hose has probably never been off since the car was brand new. Fuck is that? It's like fucking furry shit growing in there.
Ugh.
That's weird. Yeah, fuck yeah, get water all over the floor. You reckon that's all it is?
Yeah, I already undone the bolts.
Oh, automatic transmission lines.
What now?
Oh, there's some fucking plugs. Let's take this battery out of here. That's better.
Third time
Try it
lucky.
again.
Snow Commodore, hey babe, not done in 45 minutes or 35 minutes.
Oh, I'm just not rushing. I'm just not in a rush. I'm just happy poking along. But yes, Commodore radiator usually takes about 15 seconds. This one took about 15 minutes. We've made pretty good progress here. I'm quite happy with it. I'm pulling the wiring harness out on the engine this time, which some people say is easier. Oh, I don't think it really is easier. It fucking seems to take quite a bit longer actually. Got it all unplugged in there and I'm pulling it through, and these Magnas, they bloody got tucked in around the back of the ABS module mounts and all this shit. It's an absolute pain to get the wires through this way. It's really, I think it's nearly quicker for me to take them off the engine like I normally do. Well, we're going to keep going because it doesn't matter, because I want them left on the engine anyway, so all the wires got to get out of the engine bay. That's good. Now we've got to get around that ABS module. See, it's around the back of that. Engine line.
So impressed, babe.
Yeah. Could have easily had it undone off the motor in that time. Easily. There's a bit to the engine mounts because it's got fucking 4 engine mounts. Most motors only have 2 engine mounts. This thing's got 4. Rightio, so I've decided I'm going to take the engine out from underneath the car. So I've dropped a few bolts off of the K-frame. I've dropped most of the exhaust off now. The other day I undid all of the wires and shit. So I've got a couple of bolts at the front here to do, and a couple of engine mounts on either side here to do, and I think it should be able to just drop down. So what I've got the motor suspended, you know, holding the whole car up. You see, it's holding the whole car up with the crane, and I'm just gonna let the engine down onto the ground, and then I'm gonna pick the car up over the motor. Is the plan anyway. That one's tight.
Spit on that thing.
Oh, fuck.
Got it.
That was tight, wasn't it? Look at that. Oh, yeah, see, look. Engine mount's fucking rooted. Probably need to push that out of there. Look. Right, everything's undone except for the shocks on each side. And it should just be able to lower it down. There we go. When it goes down, it's going to sit on the fucking legs of the engine crane, which might be a bit of a pain.
Yeah, they're too long. We need a smaller one.
Yeah. Go slow. Go slow. Fuck. Steady. What's that bit? That just fell out of somewhere. It's very important.
What is it?
Oh, some sort of metal spacer. Alright. Let's go on to plan. Is that working? Is that alright? Can I go a bit more?
It's on the engine crane.
Yeah. I'm hoping it'll stay upright. Right, I'm going to try and lift the car up over the engine. Once it gets up, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it'll be higher than the engine. Can nearly lift it. I wouldn't say I'll be able to lift it and fucking roll it out of the shed. Don't know if that'll slide out.
Is it heavy?
Yeah.
You need me to drag?
Seems fucking sketchy.
You want me to watch the hole? It's
Yeah.
just gone past the second hole.
Okay. It's hard.
One hole
As
to
you go
go.
out, it gets harder.
Yeah.
It's only it barely even moved at that time. Is it nearly there? I don't want to go too far.
I don't even think it's moving, is it?
Yeah, it's moving.
Oh, it's nearly there.
Is it?
Yeah, touch more.
It's only supposed to be 500 kilos out there.
It's only the front of the car. There's nothing in it. Yes, spot on.
Is it?
Yeah. I think you can let the car down now anyway, and it'll go down onto those axle stands. And then you can wheel that back.
It made it. Right. I'll be able to back it up a bit more. Right, so that is part one of the reshell process done and dusted. We've got a few little bits and pieces, nuts and bolts and bits of plastic and all this sort of nonsense, a bit of this windscreen shit, sound deadening, all that stuff to sort out, and then we'll get into the painting process. Obviously a lot of washing and cleaning and tidying up to do, so get into doing that and get it ready for paint.